Welcome to Fable on Your Table. Fable on Your Table is a tabletop miniatures print and play game. Today we're going to do a Let's Play following the adventures of Argo in the crypts to see if he can complete his objective and level up, or if he dies a horrible death at the hands of the undead underground in the crypts. So we're going to get started. We just go to fableonyourtable.com and tap on Embark on an Adventure to generate an adventure. It asks you what realms you've printed out and assembled, and I've printed out the Realm of the Wraith, which is miniatures in this style, and it's asking me what the difficulty should be. In Fable on Your Table, all the elements of your character, including your level, are represented by die sizes. And because Argo is a starting character, his level is D4, so that's what I'm going to hit for the difficulty. Okay, here's the quest that I've been given. Slay the Wight. A terrible wight has been terrorizing the people of White Rock. No longer satisfied with feasting on the corpses of their loved ones, its hunger has driven it to steal livestock and now children. It must be slain. You've tracked the beast down to the old crypts that the ancients used to bury their dead. The spoor of the beast befouls the entrance, confirming that it is likely its lair. You steel yourself for the fight to come and enter. Your objective, slay the wight and escape. So if Argo can go in, find the wight, slay it, and get out alive, then Argo will go up a level. And the goal of the game is to level up 5 times to win. So I'll just journey onward. And it shows me a map of the first room and everything that's in that room, and then with buttons for me to tap on when I interact with the things in the room. So I'm going to set this up, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, here's the first room. He comes down the stairs into this little threshold area, and he sees the room laid out like this, and there's 2 rat swarms squeaking and scurrying around in the corners in darkness. There's also 3 exits from the room leading away. So he's going to have some choices to make once he deals with those rats. In Fable on Your Table, you take turns between you and the enemy. On your turn, you'll be taking 3 actions. You can move and attack are the main basic actions. There's some other things like bracing against charges and opening chests and stuff like that, but the main ones are moving and attacking. So I'm going to move. You move 1 every movement, and then I'm going to fire an arrow at that rat swarm. Now in Fable on Your Table, what you do for any kind of resolution that you need to do, anything that you need to roll for, you're going to roll 2 dice for yourself and 2 for whatever's opposing you. It's a 2x2 system. And the way you choose what dice to roll is you just roll what makes sense. Your character is described by a bunch of die sizes, and you just pick the die size, the traits that make sense, and roll those dice. So since I'm going to be shooting a bow, the traits that make sense are my archery skill of D10 and my bow of D10. So I'm going to pull those out. I've got a D10 for my archery skill, a D10 for my bow. And then we do the same thing for what's opposing us, which is the rat. The rat swarm has a defense trait of Legion, which means there's a lot of them. You can do damage to them, but you have to do, if you kill 1 rat out of a swarm, it's not going to do a lot. And Scurrying, they're hard to hit. So D4 and D4 is what their dice are. So I'm going to pull those out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll these, and whichever die comes out on top is the one that is the deciding factor for that attempt. And if it's one of mine, that means I succeed. If it's one of theirs, that means I fail. For instance, if Scurrying is the one that's highest, that means their scurrying is what decided the outcome of that, and it would mean that I was shooting arrows at it and it just dodged out of the way. So let's roll them up and see what happens. So my archery skill is a 10. Yeah, here it comes. My bow is a 6. Their legion is 3. And their scurrying is 3. So I take my highest and their highest, take the difference, and that's how much damage I do to that enemy. So 10 minus 3 is 7. And they only have 5 health. So I just pepper that rat swarm with arrows and then they disperse. Good. So that's my second action. I took one action to move in, I fired, and I take one last action. You get 3 actions, and then the other side gets to have 3 actions. So I'm not sure I can see that, so I'm gonna step over one. All right, so now it's the rat's turn to move. They're gonna move 3, and because they only do melee, they're just gonna charge at me. 1, 2, 3. Now you can, normally when you move Manhattan style, north, south, east, west only, but once per turn you can move diagonally. And so they take advantage of that once per turn. So now it's my turn again. Now it's definitely in line of sight, so I'm gonna roll these dice again. Archery, 7, bow, 6, legion, 3, scurrying, 3. 7 is my highest. It's the highest of all of them, so I succeed in hitting. 7 minus 3 is 4. So I do 4 points of damage. And like we saw before, they have 5 hit points, so they have 1 hit point left. I've dispersed most of the rat swarm, but there's still some charging at me. And I'll just put that die there to remember that. And let's fire at them again. 1, 10, yeah. Legion, 1, 4, scurrying. They did a good job scurrying, but it wasn't enough. My bow just takes out the last of them. 10 minus 4 is 6. I do 6 points of damage, but they only have 1. I've dispersed that rat swarm. The rest of the rats go scurrying away into the sewers. All right, so I've successfully cleared off this room without taking any damage. That was very nice. Doesn't always happen that way. So now I have a decision to make. But first, let's see. I need to go in to the web app and tap defeat for the rats that I've defeated and see if anything happens. Sometimes you get treasure or some other event happens, but nothing happens. So now I need to choose which door I want to go through. Do I want to go through the door with the chalk runes on it, the worm-eaten door, or the ruined door? I believe I will go west through the ruined door. Strange runic symbols have been marked on this door in chalk. So once there's no enemies in the room, you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can just move directly to where you want to go and tap on the thing that you want to do. So I'm going to exit west, and it shows me a new room. So I need to set up this new room, so I'll do that and be back in a moment. Okay, Argo enters this room. Looking through the room, we see more rats scurrying around, and a skeleton warrior rises out of the bones in the far corner. I can't even really see him right now, but I hear something moving out there in the shadows. Also, I see something gleaming on top of this barrel over here, so I'm going to have to check that out once I know I've handled everything over here. So let's start taking moves. Argo's going to take his one diagonal move to move there. That ought to put that rat within line of sight. So I'm going to attack it. I'm going to roll my archery of 7, my bow of 9, yeah, legion of 4, and scurrying of 3. Now, one thing I forgot to do last time was they have advantage when attacked with piercing weapons. When you have an advantage in this game, it means you get to re-roll your lowest die. And so since they have advantage, they get to re-roll their lowest die. Now, it wouldn't have mattered in the last game, in the last room, but, and here it won't either because he's already rolled a 4, but I'll re-roll it anyway, so 2. So the highest value is a 9, minus 4 is 5. So I'm gonna destroy it anyway because it only has 5, but now's a good time to bring up what boons are. If I look here on my bow, it says it has a boon of +1 damage. A boon is an extra effect that you get when your bow, or whenever that trait is highest. Oops, I have that left over from another time. So because my bow was the highest, that means I get to add my boon of +1 damage. So instead of 9 minus 4 of 5 damage, I'd actually do 6 damage. It only has 5, so it dies. So that's 2 actions. I believe I will just move up a little. Now it's the bad guy's turn. 1, 2, 3. He's going to start moving. I will move 1, 2 and shoot at him. Now, the skeleton warriors are a little tougher. They have higher die sizes. And like the rats, they have advantage when attacked with piercing or slashing weapons. And so because I'm using a bow, they have advantage. So they're going to be re-rolling their lowest die when I attack them. So they defend with ignores pain and undead, a d6 and a d8. So let's put those back, d6 and d8. So archery, 7, bow, 5, ignores pain, 2, undead, 6. Okay, so what's the highest? The highest is my archery skill. I have 1. I do 1 damage because his is 6. His highest is 6. My highest is 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. So I do 1 point of damage. He's got 5 health, so he has 4 left. And since I moved twice and shot, he gets to move. 1, 2, 3. He's charging at me out of the shadows, and I'm peppering him with arrows as he comes. This time I'm just going to shoot at him 3 times. So let's just roll them all at once. Oh no, I rolled 1s. Okay, 2 1s and a 4. So the D8 was the highest there, so that's the deciding factor. So I hit him with arrows right in the chest. It would have killed a normal man, but because he's undead, and that's the deciding factor, he's fine. This is how the dice kind of tell a story as you play. So that's my first. Now normally, because I have a bow, when your bow die is lowest, and here it is, you have to mark off an ammunition. So when I run out of ammunition, I can't use my bow anymore and I have to use my knife. So hopefully that won't happen. So let's do it again. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, so my archery is 7, my bow is 10. He rolled an 8 though, and a 4. And he has an advantage, so I can re-roll that, but it's not going to matter because he has an 8. So 10 minus 8 is 2, plus my boon gives me 3 damage. So he's down to 1, and I think now's a good time to show how the abilities work. So each character has a list of abilities. Abilities are just things you can activate by spending a point of stamina. So I'm going to spend a point of stamina because with my weapon mastery bow, when your bow trait is highest, and it is, it's a 10, I get +1 damage. So I can spend a point of stamina to do 1 more point of damage, and I have defeated the skeleton warrior. Okay. So the skeleton and the rat have both been defeated. It's time to check the web app and see if that means anything. Okay, so I bring this up. I defeated the rat, nothing happens. I defeated the skeleton warrior, nothing happens. So let's go over here and look at this key. Now that there's no enemies, I can just move where I want. And I'm going to investigate this, this point of interest here. That takes a long action, and whenever I take a long action, I'm going to have to tap this roll for wandering monsters when I'm done. So I have to remember that. So I'm going to pick up the key, and it says, "You are now carrying the key to a room in this area." Nice. Okay, so now I have to roll for wandering monsters. No new danger arises. Great. Okay, so now I can just go see what's through this door. So I do that by exiting west, and it gives me a new room. So I'll set that up, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, Argo has entered this room and immediately has disturbed two swarms of Crypt Bats that are flitting around the room all of a sudden, and they're right next to him too, which is not great for an archer. And there's also a gravedigger beetle, big old shiny black beetle that's burrowing around in the crypts here. So let's see what happens in this room. So we need to pull out the Crypt Bats and the gravedigger beetle things. Let's see. So Crypt Bats, they have D6s all the way across, but they have some boons on their dice as well. They have extra move actions at the start and end of their turn, and they have strategies. A strategy is just a special opener move that they get to do when they first attack you, basically. Gravedigger beetles, they have D6s and a D8 in their carapace. They reduce all damage to them by 1. And then they have advantage when attacked with crushing weapons, but I'm not using a crushing weapon. So let's see how this battle goes. Okay, so I'm right adjacent to this Crypt Bat, so that means it will have advantage when I fire at it. So I think my first action is going to be moved diagonally to here, so that I can fire on it without it being able to re-roll its lowest dice. And then I'm going to do my usual archery and bow, and it has as its defense shadowy and agile, so D6 and D6. So, whoops, that's my archery, bow, shadowy, oops, and agile. 5. All right, so 8 minus 5 is 3. I have a +1 on that because it's my bow for 4. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use another point of stamina to turn that into a 5 and kill the first group of Crypt Bats. So that was one move, fire once, and I'm going to fire at this one as my last action. Archery 2, bow 8, shadowy 6, agile 2. So I get 8 minus 6 is 2, plus 1 is my boon for my bow, is 3 damage, and it has 5 damage. So it's down to 2 health. I don't think it's worth using another stamina on it. Okay. Now it's their turn. So let's go ahead and do the Crypt Bats first. Crypt Bats have an extra move action at the start and end of their turn. Okay, so I'll just keep that there. So its first action is going to be to move diagonally. That's its free action. And then it's going to try and get within 2 inches away or 2 squares away with advantage. So if it can get here, that means it can do its thing. So 1, 2, and then its third thing is to do its strategy. So it's going to attack from 2 squares away with advantage. And it does melee slashing damage. So it's just swooping past me and attacking me. Now its attack dice are Sharp Claws D6 and Flying D6. So let's do that. Now I haven't been attacked yet, so I need to look and see what my defense stuff are. I think probably it's going to be my leather armor and my heavy cloak, which is a D8 and a D6. There's my D8, my D6, shadowy and agile. Okay, I had a 6, he had a 6, I had a 5, and a 4. So, what happens when we tie? Well, when we tie, we discard all the dice that didn't match the highest numbers and re-roll. Oops. So 6 and 4, my heavy cloak defeated its flying capability. I swept my cloak up in the air and swatted it away when it tried to attack. Yeah. Okay. Oh wait, he gets to do it. It has advantage. And I forgot to do that last time, so maybe I better do that this time. Oh, look at that. He matched me, so I better roll again. I forgot the advantage. Ah, now he's got me. So he actually does 3 points of damage to me. And this is with his flying attack. Okay, so I'm going to use another ability. I have the dodge ability. When you take physical damage, you can use this ability to reduce the damage you're taking by 1. So I'm taking 3, minus 1 is 2. I'll take off 2 there and lose 1 stamina. Ouch. All right, and now the beetle will go 1, 2, 3, and head towards me. Oh, and I forgot the bat gets a move action at the end of its turn, but it tries to end its turn within 2 of the hero, and it is right now, so it's going to just stay there. So now it's my turn again. I'm going to shoot at that thing. Hopefully I can get rid of it. So that's that, and then 2d6 for its shadowy and agile. 3, 3, 1, 4. Yep, so I miss with my first hit, my first attack. That's more like it. Okay, so my bow gets 9, and their agile gets 6, but that still does 3 plus 1 for my boon is 4 damage. That takes it out. Okay, so that's my second action. For my third action, I'm going to shoot at this gravedigger beetle. And he has carapace of D8 and burrowing of D6. So let's pull that out. Okay, so archery 9, bow 5, burrowing 2, carapace 4. So 9 minus 4 is 5. His carapace did not save him because he's only got 5 health. Oh, wait a minute. Beetles have tough carapaces, reduce all damage to them by 1. So I did 4 points of damage to him. And that's not my highest die is not my bow, so I can't use my point of stamina to increase that to 5. So he's just down to 1. His carapace saved him. And that's my last shot. So he's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. He's just coming at me. Next turn, he's got me. But I have 3 more chances to shoot at him first. 3, 3, 7, 1. His carapace was the deciding factor. My arrows are plinking off his hard shell. That's the first one. Second one. Here we go. 9, 7, 7, 4. 9 minus 7 is 2. Minus 1 because of his carapace is 1, but that's enough. I put an arrow into him, and he goes down. Okay, so I've defeated everything in here. Let's go to the companion web app and tap on the things that I've defeated and make sure there's nothing that happens. Okay, so now I choose which door to go through. Now there's a locked door up there, and I think since I have a key, I'm going to go up there and try that. Locked door. You unlock the door, and it gives me a new room. Great. Okay, I will set it up, and I will be with you in a moment. Okay, Argo enters into this chamber. This is a disgusting chamber. There's 3 rotting corpses that are staggering up to look at me as I enter, and the place is teeming with rats. There's a corpse, a big pile of bones lying there, and there's a chest of something in there, hopefully treasure or something useful that I can loot if I can take care of these enemies. So let's start this room. I'm less worried about the rats than I am of the zombie that's going to get to me next turn. So I'm going to shoot at that zombie first. Let's see, do I have line of sight to him though? No, I don't think I do, so I'm going to have to move. I think I'll move here and fire at him. Now because I have this guy adjacent to me, that doesn't cause disadvantage. It's only if the target is next to me. So I'm going to just fire at that zombie and ignore the rats. The rats are D4 and D4, but they have, oh no, not the rats, the zombie. Let me call up the zombie. Okay, the zombie ignores pain and is undead, so that's 2d6s. And they have advantage when attacked with crushing weapons, but right now I'm using piercing, so. All right. 4, 7, 6, 4. So his ignores pain doesn't save him completely from taking damage from my bow of 7. So 7 minus 6 is 1, plus 1 for the boon is 2. So he's taken 2 damage, which leaves him with 3 left. So I moved, I shot, I have 1 more shot. I'm going to shoot at him again. Okay, 8, 4, 3, 3. 8 minus 3 is 5, that's enough to defeat him. Zombie goes down, classic Romero style with an arrow right to the head. All right, so now the monsters get to go. The rat is right next to me, so he gets to attack immediately. Let's call up the rat. So he does a nasty bite of D4 and swarm of D4, and he has a boon of fever on his nasty bite. So if that's the highest die, I'm going to contract a fever, and I don't want that. So hopefully my leather armor and my heavy cloak will protect me from that. So let's see what happens. Nasty bite and swarm. All right, so my leather armor, my cloak, 2 and 3. So 6 is the highest, so it doesn't hurt me. But he has 2 more bites at me. My cloak is keeping them off. It's a nice heavy cloak. I'm able to swish them away. 1 and 2 versus 7 and 3. That's good. I'm still okay. They're swarming over me. That time my leather armor is keeping me safe. 7 and 4. So I'm able to deal with these rats scurrying around my feet while I'm shooting at zombies and stuff. Okay, speaking of rats scurrying around, let's move them. 1, 2, 3. The zombie moves 1, 2, 3. He's going to be here next turn. And then 1, 2, 3. The zombie is lurching out of the shadows there. All right. I'm going to try and take down this zombie next. That's 2d8, 2d6s for its ignores pain and undead. 5, 3, 6, 6. All right, so it's highest, and it's a critical success, which means it could apply both of its boons. It only has one defensive boon, and that's to heal 5. So, but it hasn't taken any damage yet, so nothing happens. That was my first shot. Okay, 8, 9, 3, 1. 9 minus 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. That's enough to destroy it. Now, should I attack this rat swarm? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because I'll have another round before they get here. So I'm going to just try and put an arrow into this rat swarm. I've only got 1 hit left, but it's time to shoo away these rats. Okay, 8, 2, 4, and 2. 8 minus 4 is 4, but that's the die that has the boon on it. So I get 5 damage. That's how much health it has. And even though it has advantage when being attacked with piercing weapons, even if I reroll this 2, it's not going to get higher than a 4, so it's done. Okay, so that's my turn. The rats move 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here they come. All right, I'm going to fire at the zombie because I'm more worried about zombies. All right, here we go. 10, 2, 1, 1. My archery skill allows me to place an arrow right between the eyes, and it goes down with 9 points of damage. No problem. So I will just use my other 2 turns to shoot at those rats. 10, 4, 4. Rerolling won't help it because that's the best it can roll. But 10 minus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7. I do 7 points of damage to it. I disperse that rat swarm. All right, I've cleared everything out. Great. Let's call up the web app and tap on defeat for all the things I defeated and see if I get any special treasure from rats and zombies is unlikely. Okay. So now I can investigate these piles of bones in the chest. That's going to involve rolling for wandering monsters, but I want to do it anyway. So I'm going to go over here to that pile of bones and search it. Make a search check versus 2d6. Okay, so here's an example of a check that's not a combat check. So let's see, do I have search? I do not have search as a skill. So that means my search value is just a d4. And my level is always relevant to any roll that I ever do. Normally I have better stuff than a d4, but right now I don't. So my other die is going to be a d4 for my level. So it's my pitiful searching skills and my inexperience as a archer. And then I'm just searching against 2d6. See, I rolled a 1 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1. Hey, I succeeded. Great. Okay, so I come here. I made the check. Boop. You find a small pouch of gold coins. It's worth 1 treasure. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to note that on my character sheet that I got 1 point of treasure. TR1. Nice. Okay. So I've searched for that. That's good. Oh, and I need to roll for wandering monsters now. So I do that by tapping the roll for wandering monsters in the app. No new danger arises. Great. Okay, then I'm going to go here and search the chest. Make a search check versus 2d6. Okay, here it goes again. We've already computed that. That's 2d4 and 2d6. Maybe I can search successfully again. Let's see. 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, it's all, these all tied for the best, 2. So I discard that one and re-roll. 2, 2, and 5. I lose. Okay, so I failed the check. You rummage through the detritus but quickly conclude there's nothing in there. I must have missed something. Okay. And that's everything in there, but I still need to roll for wandering monsters for spending time with that chest. No new danger arises. All right, so let's go through that dusty passage north. Okay, there's another room. I'll set it up and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I've come through this door into this room, and a zombie attacks me just as I go in through the door. It's right there next to me. There's some Crypt Bats flitting around over here. There's a skeleton archer rising out of the bones, and there's the omnipresent rats there. I don't know if you can see it behind the zombie there. And there's a chest and a door leading out. So let's see if we can take care of these creatures. All right, I'm gonna move here to get a better shot of that zombie and attack it. I got my 2 dice there. Zombies have d6, d6. Let's do it. So 7, 3, 5, 1. So its ignores pain is really bringing it. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So I hit it for 3 damage. I'm gonna hit it again. 8, 5, 8, 2, 2. 8 minus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7 for the boon. That drops it. And that's my opening turn. Now, one thing I forgot to mention last time, I don't think I did this, was zombies only get 2 actions per turn due to their shambling nature. So zombies only move 2, 1, 2. But this rat can move 3, 1, 2, 3. You can't quite reach me yet. The skeleton has line of sight to me, so I'm going to just take this and take a look. Okay, skeleton archers attack with archery and it's relentless. So d6 and d8, and they have boon on both of those dice. So no matter if they hit you, they get to add 1, regardless of which die is top. Also, they have advantage when being attacked with piercing or slashing weapons. So when I'm attacking it, it has advantage in rolling. So let's see what it's got. It's got a d6 and a d8. And I have my trusty leather armor and heavy cloak. Okay, so it rolled an 8 and a 5 versus my 5 and my 1. So I'm taking 3 points of damage, plus 1 for its boon is 4. So I'm going to spend another point of stamina to reduce that to 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. That's its first attack. Second attack is a 4 and a 1 versus my 2 and 6. So it just sails through my heavy cloak. And its last arrow. 1 and 3, uh-oh. 6 and 4. So I'm taking another 3, 4 damage. Now, your abilities you can only use once per turn. So I cannot use my dodge again this turn. So I have to take the full amount. So 6 minus 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch! I took a lot of damage from that sniper this turn. Okay, the Crypt Bats move. They get a free move at the start of their turn. 2, 3, and a free move at the end of their turn. All right. I think I will take a step back and shoot at that guy because that gives me another turn before the zombie gets here. So let's do that. So this. What does the archer have? The archer has D6 ignores pain and D6 undead as its defense. Maybe I can take it out. I can shoot at it twice. Yeah, there we go. 10, 2 versus 5 and 1. 10 minus 5. Oh wait, it has advantage. Another 5. So 10 minus 5 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. So I put an arrow between its undead eyes, and it goes down. That's good. All right. I can't see the Crypt Bats, so I think I will attack their zombie. And the zombie is D6s also. 10, 2, 5, 3. 10 minus 5 is 5. Takes it out. Thump, thump. Not bad for 2 arrows. Okay, it's their turn. So now when creatures move up to you, they can do what's called a charge action. A charge action is a special move where you attack at the end of it. So they move 1, they charge, and attack with advantage. So the rats are attacking me with advantage this turn. So I have my leather armor and heavy cloak, and they have their 2 D4s for nasty bite and swarm, and they get advantage on this. So let's roll them. 7, 4, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. They rolled as best as they could, but my leather armor is just too tough for their little teeth. They have 1 more action, which they will use to attack normally. This one does not have advantage. 4, 4, 3, 1. So I ignore all of its damage. All right, what about the Crypt Bats? Well, they get their free move at the start of their turn. 1 move, 2 moves, and now they do their special opener, their strategy, which is a ranged swooping slashing attack from 2 squares away with advantage. So they do 6 and 6. So 6 sharp claws flying versus my leather armor and my cloak. And this is with advantage, so they get to re-roll their lowest. Okay, so 5 versus 7 is not enough to do anything. And it gets a free move at the end of its turn, but it tries to stay 2 away, and it's 2 away. So it's fine. All right, I will shoot at the Crypt Bats, which have a defense of shadowy D6 and agile D6. And I will attack with my bow and archery again. 3, 1, 4, 1. Oh, and my bow is lowest. Rats. Okay, so that means I gotta mark off another ammunition. I'm using lots of arrows shooting at these Crypt Bats, but I can't seem to hit them. Okay. 6, 4, 5, 2. Okay, so this time I hit him, but I only did 1, 2 points of damage. So let's see. So it has 3 left. This is my last shot. $10 versus 4 is 6. That's enough to take it out. Great. Now I just got to suffer another 3 attacks from the creatures at my feet, the scurrying vermin. 5, 1, 3, 4, that's highest. I block it. They can't get through my cloak. 6 and 7, they can't get through my leather armor. 5 and 1 and 2 and 3. So the rats are effectively kept out by my armor and my cloak. So now I'm just going to start hitting them with my bow and arrow. 9 versus 4 is 5, takes them out. I disperse them with my arrows. Boom, 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 boom. They scurry away into the holes. All right, well, let's see what happens from defeating these creatures. Skeleton archer defeated. Nothing, rat, nothing, zombie, zombie, crypt bats. Okay, so I'm gonna go check this chest. Blip. Chest. Luckily, it does not appear to be trapped. That's good. You carefully open the chest. You find a D6 rank healing potion in a small velvet bag. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to note that on my character sheet. D6 healing potion. And then I did a search action, so I've got that's a long action, so I have to roll for wandering monsters. No new danger arises. Then I'm going to go through that northern door. Head over there and exit north. Boom. And there's a new room. Okay, here's this room. Argo enters here and he sees 3 skeletal archers rising up out of the bones. There's something scurrying around over there in the darkness, and there's the omnipresent rats scurrying around everywhere. All right. Well, I'm going to try and take out those archers this turn. So I'm going to use my handy bow and arrow and archery. And I'm going to, the archers have D6, I believe, yeah, D6. Ignores pain and undead. So I'm going to attack this one first. And they have advantage. So that means they get to re-roll the lowest. So they did a 2 and a 5. A 4 and a 5 didn't help. So 9 minus 5 is 4, but that's the die that has the boon of +1 damage. So it's 4 plus 1 is 5 damage. Blink. I kill it. All right, I'm going to shoot at this one. So 8, 3, 3, and 1, but they have advantage because they have advantage against piercing weapons. 4. So 8 minus 4 is 4. So it didn't quite take him out. He has 1 hit point left. I'm going to shoot at him again. He's far away in the dark, so I wasn't able to quite do the damage I wanted. But there it is. 9, 8, 1, 3. 9 minus 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. I take it out. But now it's their turn. Okay. So the rats are going to move 1 and then charge. So the rats have D4 Nasty Bite and Swarm. Nasty Bite, Swarm versus my leather armor and cloak. This is with advantage. Uh-oh, 3, 1, 2, 2. All right, so I'm going to choose the Swarm to re-roll because if the Nasty Bite is highest, I get a contract a fever. 3. Okay, so 3 and 3 are matched, so I discard the others and re-roll. 3 and 3 again. 4 and 4. They're jumping all over me and I'm just fighting them off. 7 and 1. There. Okay, so my leather armor is just holding them off. And they get one more attack. This one is not with advantage. 4, 2, 1, 1. So my armor is proving effective against them. The beetle, 1, 2, 3. And now the archer will move out and take a shot. Thump. So that's 1, and it attacks with a d6 and a d8, and it has +1 damage boons on both. So +1, or d6, d8 against my armor and my cloak. Uh-oh. 6 and 3 versus my 2 and 2. I don't have anything I can do about that other than to dodge. So it's got 6 minus 2 is 4, but it has a boon of +1. So that's 5 damage. I'm going to use my dodge ability to reduce that by 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's its first attack. My second attack I do better. 7, 3 versus 3 and 1. So it misses with its second attack. Okay, that's all of them. So let's, I'm going to shoot back. It defends with 2 d6s. I'm going to shoot at him, or her, they. Hard to tell when they're skeletons. 6, 6, 6. Uh-oh, that does not, that's a bad omen. I will re-roll them all. 8, 2 versus 3, that's 5. Oh, and I forgot to do the advantage. So it had a 4, so that wouldn't have made a difference. So 8 minus 3 is 5. So I kill it. That was 2 shots? I can't remember now. Okay, I'll assume that was 2 shots. And then I will take another shot at this group of rats and see if I can disperse these rats, because they're annoying. 8, 5 versus 2 and 4, and they're adjacent to me, so they get advantage. Not that it matters. So they take 4 points of damage, and I cannot use my thing to my boon to do it because it's the wrong die that was highest. All right, so we'll say it's their turn now. I can't remember whether I have one more action or not. So the rats will attack 3 times. Boop, 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 boop. 1, 1 versus 8 and 3. That's a miss. That's a 4, 1 versus an 8 and 5 is a miss. And a 7 and 6 versus 1 and 3 is a miss. Okay. The Gravedigger Beetle just charges forward. It's scrambling across the room towards me. Now I'm more worried about the Gravedigger Beetle than I am of the rats, so I'm going to shoot at it while these rats are scurrying around my feet. Yeah. Okay. So the Gravedigger Beetle is a d8 and a d6, and it reduces damage by 1. So d8, d6. 6, 2, 1, 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. So I do 4 minus 1 for its carapace is 3, so it has 2 left. I'll shoot at it again. Uh, 4, 2, 8, 1. And let's see, that's not its burrowing feature, so it doesn't activate its boon, but I still miss. So that's my second shot. I think I'll shoot at it again. That's more like it. Ooh, 9 and 9. That's a critical hit versus 6 and 4. So those are removed. I do 9, 10 points of damage to it. It's down. So now all I have to deal with are the rats. Still chomping at me around my feet with 1 hit point of damage. 3. 5 and 5 versus 2 and 2 is fine. 4 and 6 versus 1 and 1 are fine. And 7 and 3 versus 4 and 3 are fine. Alright, you rats are going down now. I'm going to shoot at you 3 times. You only have 2d4s. 7 and 5 versus 4 and 1. That does 3 points of damage and kills them. I disperse the rats. Alright. Let's see if I get any loot from all this. Okay, oops. So Skeleton Archer defeated, Gravedigger Beetle defeated, Skeleton Archer defeated. Oh, the skeleton was wearing a silver pendant worth 1 treasure. Nice. I'll mark that down. Okay. Rat defeated, Skeleton Archer. The archer's bow is still largely intact. You may take it if you like. It is a normal bow, but it has a -1 die roll penalty. I'll go ahead and take it because I have plenty of bulk left over for carrying things. And if I collect enough mundane items, I can turn them in for a treasure later. Okay. So, and a bow. -1. All right, so I'll just go to this door and open it. So that's a door to the north, and I get another room. Looks like the Wight. Okay, here we go. Okay, here is the lair of the Wight. There he is. This guy's tough. If I can defeat him and escape the dungeon alive, I go up a level. And that's the goal of this quest. So hopefully I can take him down. Now the Wight is tough. He's got D10s, D8, D10, D6 for his stats. He has double the hit points of normal creatures. The first attack he does is cold damage each turn, which means I can't use my leather armor to protect against it. Luckily, my heavy cloak does protect me from cold damage, so I can still use that. He's got a boon on his sharp claws for +2 damage and knockback. And he's a nemesis, which means that as I get tougher, so does he. He gets to advance his dice if I'm higher in level. So like if I was a D8 character and he was rolling a D6, he'd get to up that to D8 to match me. But I'm a D4, so Nemesis doesn't really come into play right now. And he has advantage when attacked at range, which hurts me as an archer. He also has an opener, an aggressive howl that does infernal damage. So that's not good. So let's see if I can take him out. It might be a tough fight. Okay, so I will start by putting 2 arrows into him. And let's see, he defends with a D10 tough hide and a D6 undead. D10 tough hide, D6 undead. 3, 3, 3, 1. Well, normally I would re-roll those, but he has advantage when being attacked at range, so he gets to re-roll that one. 10. Yeah, so I miss with my first arrow. I don't like being trapped in that corner there. Maybe I should move out. Well, I think I'll put another arrow in him and see what happens. 2, 6, 4, 6, and he has advantage, so I reroll that to 3. So I remove those two because those two match. 6 versus 6. 3 and 9. I've done no damage to him. My arrows are just plinking into his tough hide, and it's not hurting him. I'm just going to attack him again. 7 and 2 versus 3 and 3. That's more like it. Okay, so 7 minus 3 is... Oh wait, he gets to re-roll the lowest. So I will choose the d6, and it's a 3 again. Good. So 7 minus 3 is 4, plus 1 is 5 damage. So I've done 5 damage to him, and he's got 5 left. And let's see, that's my bow. So I'm going to go ahead and use a point of stamina to increase that, to use my weapon mastery bow to do 1 more point of damage. So he's only got 4 health left. But now it's his turn. All right, so he starts with his opener, which is an aggressive howl. White rolls its general dice as an attack, dealing infernal damage, and then the white moves. So its general dice are relentless, undead. He's a relentless undead target, so he does a d8, d6. So what is that? That's this die and this die. And I have nothing to defend against infernal damage, so it's just 2d4. If I was a higher level, one of these would be my level die, but I'm only a d4, so I'm probably going to take some damage here. Let's see. Yep. So 4 and 3, I rolled pretty well, but against a 7 and 3, 7 minus 4 is 3, so I take 3 damage from his infernal howling. And then he moves as part of that. Luckily that ate his charge, so he won't be attacking with advantage, but he still has 2 more attacks. And this time he's attacking with d10, d8. And the first one's going to be cold damage. So d10, d8. First one is cold damage, and I can use my cloak to defend against that, but other than that, it's just my level. Uh, 7 and 3 versus 3 and 1. Luckily, that's not the one that has the boon on it that was highest, so I take 4 damage. But that's cold, so I still can't use my dodge ability. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's his second attack. And now he's going to attack again with just melee slashing damage. And this I can use my leather armor against. 8, 1, 5, and 3. Oh boy, okay, so his sharp claws were highest, so it's +2 and knockback. I can't be knocked back, but it can do the +2 damage. So he's doing 8 minus 5 is 3, no, 8 minus 3 is 5, 6, 7 damage. Ouch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I will use a point of stamina to dodge that last point. Wow, I'm down to 4 hit points. All right, but it's now my turn. If I can do 4 points of damage to him, I have beat him. All right, so get out my bow. He's going to have advantage, but that's okay. So d10 and d6. d10, d6, his tough hide and his undead. Dang it. Okay, so 4 and 1 versus 8 and 2. I don't think I can do anything with that either. Nope. So he heals 3. He goes back up to 7 because his tough hide was highest. And I lose a point of ammunition. Still got plenty of ammunition though. That's good. Second, oh, and I didn't even roll my his advantage. I should have done that. Okay. Dang it. I rolled a 9 and a 4, but he rolled a 10 and a 3. Well, he goes up to full health. This is why the Wight is tough. 6, 4, 5, and 5. Hey, I hit him for a whopping 1 point of damage. He's down to 9. And now it's his turn. Oh wait, and he gets to re-roll the lowest. Yeah, okay. So, now it's his turn. Let's see if I can survive this. I've only got 4 hit points. And if I was smart, I would have used my healing potion before walking in here. So he's got a D10 and a D8 versus my... So the first one is just my level and my cloak. Not looking good, folks. 3 and 1 versus 4 and 1. Okay, so that's his relentless. So he doesn't have a boon on that. So I can take 1 point of cold damage. I can do that. Now I've got 3 hit points. Now I can swap out my leather armor for the last 2 attacks. 7 and 9. 4 and 5. So I take 4 points of damage. I can use my dodge ability to reduce one of those, but that's his sharp claws, so it does an extra 2. So he's doing 4, 5, 6. I've only got 3. And poor Argo dies in the crypts under the city. Well, that's Fable on your table. My poor hero has died at the hands of the Wight. Maybe next time I play I'll do better, but for now, I hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you next time we do a Let's Play.